Hey everybody, this is Lena, and you're watching. Well, no, it's not Lena's life. It's me and my shadow, and my shadow is over there, kind of hanging out, lying around, just being shadow, being cute. He's such a cutie. Let me see if I can show you guys shadow. Let me see. Oh, I was just having fruit. There he is. You see him? He's so cute. There he is, my shadow. He's like, "You're calling me." Yes, I'm calling you. I'm calling you. Come, come. You're a part of the program. Yes, you are. He loves to lick. And he loves like being on like, like just meeting people. Like we were at a store today. It was, well, actually, it was an indoor swap meet in Salt Lake City, and kind of like a Hispanic part of town. Actually, I just kind of like drove through the area and noticed that it changed demographics a little bit. But it was interesting. There were lots of Latin stores and names and tire places and car fix-up places and all these different things. But yeah, yeah, but yeah. But anyway, we walked into this swap meet. They saw like about 8 or 9 different, 80 or 90 different vendors at the swap meet. Why? Why? You get so wild. I'm going to have to put you down. Okay, say bye, Batman. Batman. Oh. All right. So, yeah, we were sitting there, we were walking. No, don't, no, 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 no. Thank you. Because if he keeps on like scratching me, he ends up like scratching the thread off of my tights. And I'm not a big fan of like having strings, all around my jeans. And, it's like the nails, like they dig in and they like create like fibers and stuff like that. So, but I was saying, basically, I was we were just walking around looking at stuff, and this older lady in a wheelchair and her daughter, probably middle-aged 50-year-old woman, she's like, "Oh my gosh, is that a dog? Oh my gosh, I thought it was like something. I don't know, I didn't know what it was." And then I go, "Yeah," and she's like, "Oh my goodness, so cute." And she was just so like excited about being able to like pet him and stuff. She's like, "My Chihuahua, she never lets me take her out anywhere, because if she gets out and she's like hanging out with anybody, she wants to bite them, and she wants to she wants to bark at them, and it's like, oh man, this little angel over here never barks. I could carry him in my purse pouch thing for like days. Okay, look at it. Let me show you. Okay, so my purse pouch was it's this thing right here. I didn't even buy it for that purpose, okay? I didn't buy it for that purpose. But one of the things that is not that great about the purse pouch here is this and this. And it's never happened, okay? Never has happened. But it happened today. Shadow got his head through here and he couldn't pull it back out. So it was like, oh, calm down, calm down. It's going to be okay. You know, the girl at the store, at one of the stores there at the swap meet, indoor swap meet, she's like, okay, so if you hold him, then I pull, and he just started screeching and stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna work. So I just took him outside, and then I just kind of, you know, he yelped a little bit, but I got his head out of there because it was like, it's so not good, you know? I mean, I don't know how I got it in there. His head's not that small, but apparently it was. But I was able to get it all figured out and stuff. And you know, he's all good. No worse for wear, you know. Phoenix, hi, Mindful Moose. Good evening, Lena. Hi, Shadow, Gemma. Oh, she left. Bye. I miss Callie. I went to market every weekend. Oh no. LOL, I should try laugh, but ears stopped him. LOL. Should not laugh. I meant. Yeah, so I was just like, wow, you know, there's a lot of cool places in this area to visit and to see and stuff. And I think I wasn't really sure on staying in this area or anything, but I don't know. It's kind of wearing on me a little bit. This morning I went to a church. Yeah, I went to a church. It's called The Well, and it's this non-denominational, modern, you know, non-judgmenting, you know, type church. I don't even know if judgmenting is a word, but non-judgmental is what I meant to say. But there was a service, like the church has like 2 different services and stuff. One of them is at 10 o'clock, and then the other one's at 11:30. So I went to the 10 o'clock at this smaller version, like they're just kind of growing a new campus and stuff, and having another campus that's close to Salt Lake City, downtown. So I went there, and I got there a little later than I would have wanted to. So I heard the message. I didn't hear the worship. So I sat through the message and stuff, and it was good. It was good. You know, it talked about how people aren't supposed to be like trying to change people. I think one of the things that the church gets wrong is that they feel that they need to reach the lost, whatever the lost is. You know, everyone is lost in all actuality. No one is really not lost. You know, everybody is kind of like trying to figure it out, find their own way. And we're all in a sense, in a progression, in an experience of learning, in a season of growing. You know, I mean, I think that we're part of this human family, and, you know, we were brought here to learn lessons. You know, we were brought here to make decisions and to learn from those decisions. You know, some of the decisions haven't been good decisions. Others have been good decisions, you know, but even the bad decisions are still beneficial, you know, for our growth. So one of the things that really spoke to me in the message that they were giving at that morning service at 10 o'clock, it was basically like the church can't close its doors to people based on whether they agree with them or don't agree with them in their lifestyle choices. It's not the church's job to tell people, oh, you can't come here, because that's not what the church is here for. The church is here to point people to God. And God's the one who can help people. God's the one who can change people, And the problem that we have is that the church thinks that they're the ones that have been appointed to change people. But no, that's not how it works. The only thing, and this is the interesting thing, the only thing that the church is supposed to do is to love people unconditionally. So if you have a doctrine and this goes against people that are in the LGBT, this goes against, what many people that I've known in the past are saying now about God's grace being, sectioned out for only those who are committed to doing and living and being like what God told them to be, and that if you're a lesbian, you're going to hell. And if you're a transgender person, then, you're an apostate to and it's like, no, you're not. Everybody has their journey. Everybody has the place that they are dealing with in life. And a lot of times we learn these, and especially Christians, learn these doctrines and theologies that honestly God never intended for you to follow. Jesus said simply, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Above these two, there are no others. Everything else is fulfilled in those two. It's like the golden rule: do unto others as you would want them to do to you. So if you don't want someone to treat, if you don't want to be treated badly, then you treat others as you would want to be treated. So the problem that the church has is that their gospel, if they adhere to this type of gospel that excludes people and says, oh no, you're not the one that's included in everybody, because it's everybody that's included in God's kingdom. It's not just those people that believe in a certain doctrinal position or in some type of religious, theological position of grace and salvation and good works and, all these things. And if your gospel actually displaces those who you're called to reach, then it no longer becomes the gospel. It no longer retains that. So if your theology is in the way of reaching people, and this goes for, and I personally know because I've experienced it myself on a grand scale, the degree of disassociation that my former Christian friends have thrown onto me and basically have kind of like said, oh no, you're in sin, so we can't walk with you. We can't partner with you because you are in sin, and it's like, you're in sin. If you look at somebody bad, if you lust for something, if you eat like no tomorrow, like a lot of Christians do, then you're in sin. But it's like they take this one thing and, I'll use the whole transgender issue. They use that whole issue as like a prop positional statement for themselves because, they don't struggle with these things. They don't deal with issues lifelong that have anything to do with their gender. I mean, they're completely okay with everything, So those of us who struggle with it, and really do have a disassociation with our innate original gendered, classification. It's like they don't recognize that. They just go, oh, you're in sin, So then they just alienate you and they walk away from you. I mean, people that you would have been working with side by side, because I worked in Christian television. I mean, a lot of my career was in Christian television. I initially moved back to Nashville for the fact that I was, being asked to come back in order to work with an organization that was a Christian organization. And they provided about 80% of my work at the time. And I was super busy doing conferences, doing Bible studies, doing, all these different films and videos and music videos and kids things. And oh my gosh, there was seminars and conferences. And, we were busy. I was like, really like sought out because as a person, working in television and having a specific skill set, where I literally owned a piece of equipment that people rented out, and I was really good at it. Okay. I was really good at it. And I'm not going to be prideful in saying that. I was good at it. And it was like one of those things, as soon as I transitioned, and I didn't expect to continue working in Christian television. I mean, I understand the limitations there, but the degree of disassociation from people that I really did think were my friends. I mean, people that I would like pray with, people that knew my family, people that I ate with and I toiled with and I, shared with in a lot of things. They never would give me a second glance. I mean, it was really disconcerting to say the least, because here I am, a person, and I've always been a good heart. I've always had a very kind soul. And to get nothing after one transitions and you just get like, okay, I'm never going to talk to that person again. But I kind of knew early on that that kind of thing would happen because I had a friend who was a young person who was working as a worship leader, worship pastor, like with his dad's church in Dallas, Texas. And he was a part of the media team. And the media team works with the worship team and they put together materials and they do stuff every Sunday and they make videos and things throughout the week, And well, my friend Chris came out gay, he came out as gay. And I remember, Lifeway really, these are the people that I used to work for. Lifeway really wanted to pursue Chris because Chris was a super talent. He could edit really well. He was a great shooter. He had a great eye and was very creative and just one of those cutting edge kids, pushing the envelope, doing interesting things. And that's what you find a lot of in the LGBT community. I mean, more often than not, you're going to find people that are artistic, not autistic, okay? Artistic, like A-R-T, like art. Yeah, art. They're artistic, they're creative, they're sensitive, they're colorful and flamboyant, they're bright, they're bold, they're beautiful, and those are the types of people a lot of times that get shunned by the church. People that really don't deserve to be thrown under the bus just because they deal with the sexual preference that they have that somebody else doesn't deal with. Somebody else doesn't struggle with liking a person of the same sex as they, But anyway, I was riding with the crew of guys that I used to work with. And we're going down through Alabama or something, Alabama, on our way down to Birmingham from Nashville. And along the way, a friend of mine chimes in a conversation in the car and says, "Hey, did you guys hear about Chris?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, oh no, I know what's going on with Chris because Chris is my friend. And yeah, Chris is gay. Can you believe it? Can you believe we had a snake in the camp and we didn't know it? No, you had a creative person who had a preference of sexuality that was different than yours, but that doesn't take away from his gifting. That doesn't take away from the ability for Chris to be a creative force used by God, anointed, gifted, talented. Oh yeah, no, we can't hire him anymore. He's one of those people. Story of Zacchaeus and Jesus, about a week or two before Jesus went to be crucified. He's walking through the streets in Israel, in Judea, and all of a sudden he looks up, he sees this guy, a short man named Zacchaeus, a tax collector, a person that was like marginalized by the Jews, the people, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, all the religious people, because a tax collector was known to be a very dishonest person. Yeah, they used to steal from the general public, So all of a sudden, Jesus is walking down the street and he sees, because Zacchaeus wanted to see Jesus, right? He wanted to see Jesus. I don't know if he necessarily wanted to encounter Jesus like he did, but he wanted to see Jesus. So a short man climbs a sycamore tree or a fig tree, and he looks down and Jesus looks up and he's like, Zacchaeus, why don't you come down from that tree? I have, business to do with you, or I have to meet with you in your home. This has to happen. It's like, Jesus had an appointment with this guy that was, well, not really considered a good person, let's just say. So the people in the crowd and the religious people, they're like, what in the world are you thinking? How can you go eat with a guy who is like absolutely sinful? That's like, okay, that's like a person who's gay or trans, as what they would consider, right? And the the story goes, and Jesus looks up and he goes, hey, Barry, why don't you come down, and I want to eat at your house, and Barry's a gay guy, or Susan's a lesbian. But Jesus says, I want to eat with you because you're my child. I love you, and that's what the church misses, because the church is like the crowd that wants to just like tell people, you know what, the gospel isn't for you. This story of God's grace isn't for you. You're a sinner. You're lost. And Jesus said, I didn't come for the well. I came for people that are sick. I came to heal people. I came to heal emotions. I came to heal, brokenness. I came to heal emotional abuse. I came to heal because I love and I don't judge. So I just think it's really interesting, because as a trans woman, I have gone to church in Silver City, and I think that there's a new wave of an awareness to love people, regardless of what you think, regardless of who they are, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual identity or their sexual preference or their gender identity, or, whether they, fit into society or they don't fit. Everybody fits in the kingdom of God. We're all God's children. So I just find it really interesting that as a trans woman, I am finding community within some of these local churches that, many of my friends would have been a part of. Many of my friends who disassociated themselves from me, they find themselves asking a question like, so what does it mean to love? I think one of the key things about love is acceptance. And there's a difference between accepting a certain person's choice to do whatever they wanted to do or however they wanted to live. I mean, no one is saying that they have to accept that. I wouldn't imagine that people would have to like accept what I did, but we can all peaceably coexist on this planet and in the church and allow ourselves to let God change us. Let God do the work to make us better people, to learn lessons and to be able to be gracious to those who are hurting, because you don't know the history. You just don't. Everybody has a different story. Everybody's story is not the same. Mine is different than someone else's, and someone else's is different than the other person's. And this goes along with just about anything. And it's not just in the LGBT, which is, kind of what is used as a scapegoat a lot of times. But generally, it was sad because I grew up in a family where if someone had an extramarital affair, or if someone had, basically had a child without being married, they would be labeled as having cancer. They would be labeled as, unrestorable, or a person that can't teach anymore, a person that can't lead anymore, because their sin is bigger than what they can do, for God anymore. And I'm just glad that those days are coming to an end. And some may say, oh my gosh, this is the age where, people are just accepting anything, and we need to hold the banner high. We need to wave the flag of righteousness and say, not here, not now, not in my church. I will not accept gay. I will not accept trans. I will not accept, people who have kids out of wedlock. I will not accept people who are divorced. It's like, who made you God? Because God never told you to change anybody. God just said, point them to me and I will do the work. God's going to do it, not you. Not your holy life, not your holy decisions, not your holy friends, not your holy belief system, not your holy theology, not your holy doctrine. None of that comes into play, because you're not called to do battle. You're called to stand, like I said in another video. Having done all, after you put on the armor of God, you just stand. That's it. You don't fight. You don't use a sword. You don't use your weapon. You don't draw anything out. You don't draw your sword out and try to slash people. You stand. That's all you do. And let God do the changing. And if he doesn't change people, he doesn't. It's all in his time. It's all in his time. And I think that a lot of times the church loses focus. A lot of churches do. And they feel like they're called to make the decisions to change people. It's like, well, now that you're baptized, now you need to walk in the light, and you need to follow the words and the commandments of the Lord, and it's like, you know what? Again, if your theology is getting away and in the way, and your doctrine is getting in the way of reaching people and loving people, because I honestly do not believe in the whole tough love thing. It's like, well, we're just going to love them in a way that's just a hard love. We're not going to show compassion to them. We're going to turn our face away from them, and we're going to let them cower in their decision, and let them go sow their seeds of destruction, and let God come back into their lives. And when they're done and they're groveling, then we'll accept them again, you know? And it's like, you know, that's not Jesus. It's not Jesus, because Jesus told a story about the not the Good Samaritan, but that's a good one too. But of the prodigal son, you know, he comes back after sowing his oats and basically taking his portion of his father's inheritance towards him, and he spends it all, finds himself sitting in a puddle full of manure and, you know, animal droppings and whatnot, right, in a pig pen. And he comes to the realization, you know, I could be doing much better. I could go back to my dad and I could be a slave for him. And even being a slave for him would be better than sitting here in pig poop, basically. So he makes his way back to his dad, and his dad is waiting for him. And his dad's not waiting with a stick. His dad is not waiting with judgment. His dad is not waiting with reprimands. His dad is not waiting with a crossed arms and a fist, you know. His dad's smiling. His dad's crying. His dad is elated that his son's coming back. And his son shows up to him and he says, "Oh my gosh, Dad, if I could just be a servant in your kingdom." And he goes, "Knock that off." Literally, you know, don't even think about it. You are my son. I love you. Here, this is what you get because you're my son. So he gives him like the signet ring, you know, that basically is the seal for everything that the man has. That, you know, it's like a carte blanche seal. Whatever he wants, he could get it, you know, because he is the ruler. He's got that signet. So his dad takes that signet ring off, puts it on his son's finger, and then he takes his robe off and he hands it to his son. And he's like, "Welcome back," you know, and it's not like you need to repay for the punishment for what you did and this and that and the other. And it's not like that. It's unconditional love. And, you know, the kid changed because he went through those hard times and he realized that his father loved him. And once he came to that realization that his father loved him, he ran back to love. He didn't run back to judgment. He ran back to love. And he was forever changed. Now his brother, on the other hand, he was all ticked off. He's like, whoa, Dad, here I have been all this time, and you're going to give him the ring, and you're going to give him this and that and the other. And I've been faithful to you. And, you know, it's like the brother's all bitter and upset. Instead of rejoicing with his father about his brother coming back, you know, he's like all ticked off. And it's like, it's sad, because I think that's the condition of the church a lot of times. Not the churches that I've been to lately, but a lot of the church. Basically, you know, they're like, "Hey, we've been in worship services all this time. We've been living our lives. We've been doing things for the kingdom. We've been growing churches. We've been establishing, you know, all these different organizations and parachurch organizations, and what are you doing allowing those people in, those transgender people, those gay people, those divorced people, those, and it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you've come from. It doesn't matter if you were in a pile of crap yesterday. It doesn't. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is love. That's it. So I was at this church, and it was really cool. Really great worship music. I went to the 10 o'clock, and then I went to the 11:30 at the other church, which is the original church, like 15 minutes down the road. And it was really cool. My friend actually had recommended that church to me, the same woman who's been so gracious to give me this awesome place to lay my head and just refocus my intent and my purpose and what I want to do going forward. But it's amazing. I am humbled, very much so, very humbled. And I can't deny the truth of what I have been through. I've been through a lot. Recently, I was going to, I had this crazy notion. I was going to try to reconnect, because everybody's like, Lena, you need to reconnect with your kids. You need to make sure, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nobody knows me like me. Well, God knows me better than I do, but I have really pined and yearned for my kids. And last week I thought to myself, this would be a great thing if you just move back. Move back to Tennessee, where my kids are, and focus my attention on the relationship with my children. It's just not that easy. Years of pain, years of disillusionment, years of neglect and concern and hurt doesn't take away. It doesn't just go away, literally. It has to heal somehow, some way. And the only way that heals is through time. And so I got this crazy hairball, this thought in my head, and I applied for an apartment. And I was approved. It was good. But it wasn't good, because going back would just open a whole can of worms, and it just wouldn't be a good thing. So I just have been getting counsel from different people, and I spoke with my oldest boy, and he's like, "No, it's not a good idea. Don't do that." I was like, "But why? I I mean, I don't see why I can't, put myself in a position. It's not like I'm going to go to the house and knock on the door." But he was adamant, And so on Friday, I decided, no, I can't take it. Although it was approved, I said, I can't take it. I'm just gonna do what I can here. I'm just gonna try to reconnect with my children, select few of them and see how it goes. So I'm looking around here for places to live. I like it here, but I'm not sure. I could also had an offer to go up to Montana. It's a lot colder there, obviously. But and then I had another offer from somebody to go spend some time with them, in the Pacific Northwest. So there's all these options going around. There's no real decision because I really don't know what I should do. But what you always will get from me in every, situation is honest introspection and intent. So the best thing for me to do is to just try to get more grounded and be able to just live this out, in a way that I can just focus on healing, focus on, meeting people, focus on finding a good home church to be a part of. And I think I did. I think I found that, I think I found, areas that are of interest to me that I'm going to go check out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would never put the cart before the horse. And literally, I don't even know what that word means because, So I guess I'm just going to leave it at that, but just shared some personal information, some spiritual stuff, and allow myself to continue to heal because that's important. It's important to heal. So I guess that'll be it, and I didn't really listen to anybody questions wise and stuff. So I was going to go back to some of these. Linda, my phone is dying. I have to go, but I love you. Take care at TTYL. Good night, Gemma. Mindful Moose. Judge not lest you be judged. I don't join cults. Jesus told you to search, not go with the flow of it all. I'm abnormal because I'm straight, outside looking in on everything, even life. You all worry about men's words too much. Let them go with your heart. I wish more people had their head on straight like you. Who cares who one sleeps with and shares with? It's their home, not yours, not your business. It's true. It's true. You're all sinners. What makes you think you have the right to tell anyone how to be or what to do? Many will come in my name, and this one was one who came in the name, read the Bible, answer your own questions. They're all in it. Symbolism, not religion. all that hellfire turns me away from the whole energy. Yeah, and I don't really personally want to like subscribe as being, you know, like a Christian or anything like that, because I believe in the unconditional love of God. That's what I believe in. I just stay in peace, walk away from the condemnation and grooming. Just do what I was taught to do. Mindful Move says the only fighting you are to do is fight with what you know is wrong, not fight others for what they do. We all have our own path to walk every now and then, and then you meet someone, and that's when you help. Not all parents welcome their kids back without strings or chains. I just think it's important, you know. I think it's important. To really do the work in your own personal life and not worry about other people and what they're doing or not doing. You know, I think one of the things that I really got really sick of, you know, with my last relationship was this constant need to get people to see things the way Real Talk with the Cummings wanted it to be seen. It's like, and then we would say, oh, there's no judgment, you know, everybody's got their own path, everybody's got their own thing they're doing, you know, but at the end of the day, you look at, you know, what's being said, and it's like, my way's better than your way. You need to listen to it. If you don't listen to it, you're going to run into problems. So you know, and it's like, no, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that you're loved and you're never, ever going to be alone, and you're never, ever, you know, going to be forsaken, and you're always, always, always going to be accepted. Doesn't matter what you did. Doesn't matter where you've been. Doesn't matter what you've done. Nothing matters to unconditional love, because there is no power greater than that power within us. That is the power to love. You know, power of love heals. I watched this video. This woman was losing her child. She's in the ICU. Her child is, you know, her preemie is fading away. And preemies aren't supposed to be out of the little bin, you know, their little sanitary, you know, sterilized little cubicle thing. The child's losing it. Okay, the heartbeat is getting slower and slower and slower and slower and slower. And then they immediately thought, we need to get this child out to her mother. And they rip open the plexiglass, you know, and pull the baby out, bring it to the mom. The mom holds the baby. The mom cuddles the baby. The mom breathes on the baby. The mom loves on the baby. The baby feels the mom's heartbeat. The baby feels, you know, the tender care and the nurturing. The baby feels the warmth of the mother's skin on the baby's face. And what happens? Guess what? That baby starts beating his heart, her heart again. She starts coming back to life. She starts feeling that love, and it changes her. and it revolutionizes her and it makes her whole again. That's what love is all about. You know, it's like they could just throw all those doctrinal books out the window as far as I'm concerned. All those years of Bible college training and, you know, all that stuff, just throw it out the window, people. If you can't love people and accept people and be Jesus to people in where they're at, then why the heck would you even want to call yourself a follower of Christ? Because you're not. You're just a stumbler, you know. And Jesus said it'd be better to tie a millstone around their neck, you know, than for you to, you know, trip up one of my little ones, you know. So make the decision, you know, make the decision to unconditionally love, to accept people. God forbid. God forbid. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful what love can do, how powerful love is, how amazing the love of God is within each and every single one of us that would want to change us simply because we're loved. That's it. Well, I guess I'm going to get going, but thanks you guys for listening. Thank you for being a part of this Sunday conversation with me. Shadow is resting, I guess. Shadow's tired. Shadow traveled a lot today, but it's all good. It's all good. All right, you guys. Well, have a great evening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I hope that something, you know, I hope that something came about in what I said that may be of benefit, you know. Thanks, Phoenix. Much love, Lena. I missed you, and it worked tonight. Night, Shadow Pup. Remember God, and I love you. Love you too, Phoenix. I definitely want to come see you. Want to see a few people, a few of my friends and stuff that have been so kind. All of you have been very kind to me. So, Mac Wells. Oh man, just joined. It just showed up at the end. Have a good night. Oh, sorry, Mac. I wanted to talk about something that wasn't. I guess it's not taboo or anything, but it's an issue that needs to be addressed. It's an issue that needs to be looked at. It's an issue that everybody deals with to one degree or another. Mindful Moose says, the church says you have to love God unconditionally. Love. But his love is conditional on you doing as you're told. Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, guys. Thank you again. I'll see you guys at a later time. Don't know when, but I'll just pop in here whenever I can. All right. Bye.